Hello, gorgeous. It is Lala Kent. Welcome back to the Give Them Lala podcast. I have Jessica Wolta with me. Hi, babe.
Hello.
Easton is in Hawaii for a wedding. Sounds pretty chic, right?
So chic, and he's having so much fun, I heard.
Yeah, he's having a great time. So my other co-host is Heather McDonald.
Yay!
Hi, Mama.
I love having you because I tell you this every time we hang out, anytime you do my podcast, anytime I do yours, that you are one of the funniest people that I've ever met in my entire life. So I'm so happy to have you here.
Well, thank you. I love you too. And I'm excited because part of the payment is that I get to come over and see the new Sosa baby, which I've not met that cuteness in person. And I'm pretty excited.
She's officially, what is she?
2 months?
No, 5 weeks and some change.
Oh,
so you'll be one of the first
so
to see her.
I still get to, like, it's still baby head smell and all that, right?
All the things.
Okay, all right, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
5 weeks is when a little bit of baby acne pops up. She's got more than the average newborn. She's got very sensitive skin. And she is a white baby, Heather.
Okay.
It's
okay to be white. I brought the Jergen self-tanner. We can slather up in it.
She is my fair lady. That is, I'll be breastfeeding her and like I'll sit her up to switch boobs and I look at her face and I'm like, oh my God, what happened? And it's just literally from me ever so slightly holding her head.
Like redness or something?
All the redness. If you were to open a box of Crayolas, hers would be fire red. No,
That's
she's very
so
cute. You'll be one of the first people to meet her.
Oh, good. I'm very excited.
I'm curious if you think she looks like Gigi.
Oh,
Lisa,
I've seen the photo that you posted.
Did you think or not?
Yes, definitely.
See?
And I mean, I think she looks a lot like you. And
I look identical to my mother.
And yeah, and so I think that. But it's funny because before you came out with the name, and I just like. I don't know. I said like on some show, I'm like, I know the name and it goes great with Ocean. Because I do think Ocean and Sosa sound good together. And you kind of want sibling names, especially if they're the same sex. I think they kind of go good together. So then people were like, it's Sailor. It's this. Like people thought it was an Ocean name. And I just meant like, no, the O of Sosa sounds cute with Ocean.
Totally. I think people either loved the name or were not fans of the name.
Who cares?
I don't really give a fuck.
Everybody, it doesn't matter. Even if someone doesn't like it, once it's the name, it's just like I can't see her as anything else, and you love it, And also, there aren't a lot of like bitchy ex-girlfriends named Sosa.
I don't know.
I don't know one. I think because that's always the thing. Like, really, Craig? Your name, your son, Craig. It's like so. It's all good. Yeah.
My whole thing is if you don't like it, don't name your child that.
Exactly. I didn't realize how much people care about syllables too. The people who love it are like, and it's the same syllable, Ocean, Sosa. Do you care about that? You do, don't you?
Well, I just like the flow of things like you were saying.
Good together.
I think it does too. I also love the fact that I just learned this, that the drug mob boss or whatever in Scarface is named something Sosa.
Do you know?
So
I just saw Scarface for the first time in my entire life
it's
on my flight to the East Coast. Yeah,
okay.
I'd never seen it, and I mean, I thought it was great. I thought there was going to be more like passion, love between before watching it, knowing that Michelle Pfeiffer was in it, and then she was like the drug lord's girlfriend, and then I thought there was a reason why she fell in love with him, and I felt like there was no chemistry, and I wanted that like. He's an awful murderer person, but like he's sexy and I can't get enough of him. And then someone's like, oh, the movie to watch if you want to see that one is with, I think it's Johnny Depp and Penelope Cruz.
Blow?
Yes.
Blow.
That one, there's like a real passion where she's like, finds herself in love with the drug lord. And that's what I wanted to see more of.
Passion.
All right.
Yeah, that. But yeah, so the name was also what I was going to say about Sosa, which is great.
Tell me.
Is when it comes time for her to learn how to spell her name, it's pretty easy. So she comes off like a genius.
Yeah, Ocean already knows how because it's the easiest name on the planet.
Yes. So then it's like, oh my God, you're so smart. You're already spelling your name. It's like if you name your kid Bob and like you'll not be worried about that child's development. Like
I thought my grandpa's name was Bob, and for a short period of time, it's so good. I'm like, if I have a boy, Bob is the name.
Bob is a
It's
good
so
name.
good. Ready to elevate your shopping experience? Then tune in to Amazon Live. For those of you who don't know Amazon Live, you are really missing out. I have the best time on there. Amazon Live is a shoppable video experience on Amazon where you can learn about the hottest products from influencers and creators like myself and shop while you're watching. On my channel, you'll find cruelty-free beauty must-haves, my go-to childcare products, the essential fashion basics that you need in your everyday wardrobe. We are constantly balling on a budget. On Amazon Live, you can ask questions in the live chat and have fun with whoever is streaming. And if you like tea, there is plenty of it with reality stars like Kyle Richards, Paige DeSorbo, and of course, myself. So I just finished my new Amazon Live series called Mama Still Got It, where we brought a mix of personal anecdotes, parental advice, and interactive segments with special guests from my pod like Christina Kelly and Michelle Lally. During Mama Still Got It and my other Amazon Lives, I always get a little too comfortable spilling a little too much tea on my life and maybe other people's lives. And that means you get an exclusive look into my life that the cameras don't always show. Jess, aka my brain, Easton, my right arm, and of course, sometimes we have the gem Lisa, my mother, pop into during my lives. We have so much fun, just like on the Give Them Lala podcast. I love chatting with the Amazon Live community that we've built, and it feels like a safe and positive space, so I want to thank you all for creating that for me. Amazon Live is a perfect partnership for me, as Amazon has really come through for me in motherhood, giving birth, and all the aspects that come with being a mom. I literally revealed the gender of my second child on my live stream, and it was the most positive, love-filled experience. I've built such an incredible community on Amazon Live. You're all sweet and supportive, and I appreciate it beyond words. So thank you for celebrating so many monumental moments in my life. I am obsessed with doing Amazon Live and tuning in as well. Stream and shop my new show, Mama Still Got It, on Amazon Live by going to amazon.com/live/Lala Kent. Or you can watch Amazon Live's new live TV channel on Freevee or Prime Video under the DIY section and shop along on your phone. Have you been watching that Mormon Wives show?
Yes, I'm completely up on it. And I interviewed two of the girls.
All right, so let me tell you, I'm completely not up on it.
Well, you know you're part of it now.
Can you tell us
What do you
you're talking
mean?
about the cousin, the genealogy,
That
right?
you're related.
Oh, so Sheena texted that to me, and I said, I want no parts. I want no parts. I got through 3 episodes. I told myself I'm going to give it another shot. So I got through half of the second episode that I left behind, picked it up, watched that, got through the 3rd episode, and said, I cannot do it.
Why?
I don't find it interesting. I find it cringy. I find it to be, I just am not. Everyone else is into it.
No, I don't
Everyone
think that's
loves it.
not necessarily true because, like, you know, I have like a group that watches these shows and we talk about it on my Facebook group. And no, a lot of people felt exactly the way you did. Like, I don't get the hype. I got them all. And that code, I was able to figure out how to watch it. Okay. I was able to figure out the passcode. So I was watching them, and because I was going to interview them, sometimes when you have to watch something because you're going to do work, it feels a little bit like work. So at first I thought it was a little bit about work. And just when I was about to give up on it, I was like, oh my God, I have more episodes to watch. And then it kind of was getting good.
Okay.
But I get what everyone says. I get that they all look alike. It's really hard to keep them
That's
apart.
Utah. That's Utah. Everyone looks the same. They've all got like the inserted, you know, those teeth that you wind up and they go,
Yeah.
that they all have those mouths. So when I came out here and people were like, your teeth are amazing. I'm like, not even. Go to Utah and it's like, ding.
Yeah.
Murder
Why?
mouths.
A lot of dentists?
A lot of dentists, a lot of teeth whitener people. It's
I think
just,
it's also like clean living of Mormons. Like, I remember when they, you know, rescued all those Mormon kids from like whatever that
what?
horrible guy's name was.
Oh,
Jesse.
Warren Jeffs?
Yeah. And they were like, oh my God, these kids, they're so polite. They're just asking for like raw apples and carrots, and they no processed food and generations of no drinking and no. I mean, I do think that kind of gives you a healthier glow, whether it's your teeth or your skin or your hair or whatever. It's good,
True.
clean, inbred living.
Oh no.
You said it.
Just
yes.
kidding.
No.
Well, a lot, you know,
I think
so
that's-
speaking of inbred, okay, so there's this girl, and I interviewed her, and she was very cute, and her name
What's her
is
name?
Jen Affleck, and they made a big deal. They would say all the girls, here's Demi, here's this. They would never say anyone else's last name when they'd bring them up in the show. She's married to Zach Affleck, who is they described it as a second cousin to Ben.
Okay, so
and
it's
Ben Affleck's brother.
Affleck, not like Affleck, not the duck.
Yeah, like
the actor.
yes.
Got it.
And so I was like, well, that's interesting because, you know, Ben is famously from Boston. I'm assuming his family is Catholic, who somehow married a Mormon along the road to then be Mormon. Like, I was just curious about that part.
Okay.
So I'm asking her, and she's just kind of like, oh, and so I was like, so wait, is it like a grandparent of Ben's is a sibling to a grandparent of, or a great grandparent of your husband's? Like, I was just trying.
You were putting the family tree together.
Anyway, turns out they're not related at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
That's what genealogy people are saying. They're not related at all. They just have the same last name. She had said that they had never met him, but I'm like, well, yeah, I haven't met a third removed cousin either, you know? And so then they said, but he's related to Lala.
Let me tell you something. I don't even fucking claim my first cousins. All right. So I ain't claiming a fourth 3 times removed. I told Sheena I want no parts of it. It's weird. I don't claim it. I don't want it. Take this package home, Reed.
Well, there's also talk that she might be separated from him now, the girl, because he came off very poorly in the show.
Is
They
it
went-
his hair? His weird, wafty hair?
It was that he seemed quite controlling, and he got real weird when the girls went to Magic Mike or Chippendales or whatever, and in Vegas. And they went at like 6 o'clock. It was like light out. They're drinking their sodas. I mean, it's pretty fucking tame, but whatever. But you know, he's one of those guys that, which is like the complete opposite. I went to Thunder Down Under, okay, when
Yeah,
I was in
so
Vegas
good.
before my
Right.
show. Not only was I pulled up on stage because I made sure I was going to be pulled up on stage.
Yeah, of course.
And, you know, when they did it on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, it was Sutton being like, it's not about the pants. You know, she wore pants. I wore a skirt. I was like, let it be seen. I had little hot pants on, but I wore a sexy dress.
Yeah.
Okay, so then.
Hold on. Did you wear cartwheel pants? That's what they're called now. Cartwheel pants that you wear under like a dress. I learned
It's like
this.
a little power short. So it's like sucks you in a little, but it's also like little like.
It's so
like
if you do
cheerleading shorts.
cartwheels,
Yeah.
Cartwheel short.
nothing shows. I
Right.
just learned this because Ocean, I have to send her to school in cartwheel pants. So you wore a skirt, but you
A
had on
dress,
a
sexy
dress
with
sexy
some black
dress,
like little, you know, spandex shorts. But
cartwheel
full
pants.
butt, full coverage. Okay.
Yeah, I love it. So keep going.
And so the guy pulls me up, and he had like long hair, which has not ever really been my jam.
It was the guy we interviewed, Lost.
No, was it Magic Mike
Thunder.
or
Thunder Down Under.
It was the
Australians.
guy. It was we interviewed. We had him on the podcast. I saw, I think, a video.
Was he huge? Was
He
he
was-
massive?
Oh yeah, they're all like huge.
long hair. His name's like Ben, I think.
I wouldn't know.
She
Like,
didn't
he
get his
could have cared
name.
less. Like I was just another, you know, older drunk lady. Like he was like, get me off this shift, right? So then he pulls me up, and we're doing all this stuff, and we're filming it. Brandy and Julie are filming it for me because then we're going to do a live show in Vegas, and I wanted to show that video just for those people. So, you know, he is on the bed, and then it's like weird because it's like they're thrusting it, but they're, you know, he's not hard. So I've never had like a guy, I never felt like a non-hard dick like that close to me.
I think that they do something to it so that he doesn't get a hard on.
I think it's like a gyno doesn't get hard, you know?
It's like
well, some do.
professional.
They're gross. But most are like, you know, come home from work and see their wife and are like, I'm about to see another one. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a gyno.
All we know is it was flaccid.
It was fine. But it was fun. It was a funny video. So then on top of that, I then have my 21-year-old son. He had to then edit the video of his mom. And I'm like, God, your made-for-TV movie about your childhood is going to be like so
Was it
good.
Drake?
Yeah, Drake was doing it. And so I'm like, he's like cutting it, da-da-da. And then I show it to Peter. He's like, oh, okay. Like the most non-jealous.
Peter's her
and meanwhile,
husband.
my husband Peter. And meanwhile, this Mormon guy is like, you're not the wife. You're not going to make it to the celestial heaven with me. I'm like, oh my God. She's crying. She's like, I was just trying to be on a reality show. Like, so people didn't like him. Your cousin.
Okay, your cousin.
Fuck you.
Which
He's not my cousin. I'm not claiming him.
Goodbye.
Have,
you have such a passion for not claiming him. And I've seen comments of people being like, she's such a hater. But then you made a good point to me off air. You're like, I experienced a lot of not weird shit during childhood. You saw and heard a lot of weird stuff about the Mormons because your mom came from that family. So explain.
No, not my mom.
Oh,
my dad.
Your dad.
My dad. And I did not like the way that my dad's family treated him because he left the church when he was 22. I just, what some people, when they watch that show, the Mormon show, what they think is intriguing and wild, I experienced from my family members and the judgment and what it does to a female's mental state. And how they sit there and they have to please the husband. They're usually controlled. They don't have minds of their own. They're submissive. They're subservient. It's really fucking sad. So I want no part of it.
Well, I will say this about the show. All the girls are divorced.
Yes.
Everybody's on their second husband, which I find very confusing about such a strict religion because I'm like, how is it that everybody can get divorced 2 and 3 times and then, but you just have to get some paperwork done by the head temple people? I'm like, what? Like, come on.
You have to get a temple divorce.
Yeah,
if you don't get the temple divorce, you're together.
Like you get to have it and they're like, I'm sorry, your paperwork's not in. So you got to be with the first husband.
Exactly.
And you're like, the asshole, I did it when I was 20. And they're like, yeah, you didn't fill out your paperwork right.
And keep in mind, they can also, when you die, someone can go in and baptize you and put your name in the church. So they just like are Mormonizing all of these people who never wanted to be Mormon after they're dead in their grave.
That's wild.
It's just absolute insanity. And the one girl who's like battling with the main girl who got pregnant by that quack.
Taylor and
what's the other one? The blonde, short hair.
Whitney.
So she's married.
Whose husband was caught on Grindr. I mean Tinder.
And addicted to porn.
Just a little slip there. It was Tinder, so come on, everyone, settle down. They're pregnant again, and she's the one that did the dance. Do you know about that?
The dance?
Tell us about the
You
dance.
don't know about the Whitney's dance?
No, tell me.
Whitney's scoop was juicier than the Taylor scoop, because the Taylor scoop is that she did side swinging, or no, soft swinging.
What is that? You make out and like jack people off? You don't let them insert you?
Yeah, it's not full penetration.
Okay.
In front of your partner?
Yes.
But I think she did it behind his back, which it then became cheating.
Oh, so
Yeah,
not-
then
okay.
so it was a group of people that were like, basically it started with like spin the bottle, whatever. Then they were like doing stuff with each other.
These are grown people, by the way.
Yeah, like
okay.
they put their kids to sleep and then they would be like, she said first it was like, the husbands were like, you girls should kiss. Then it was like, we should kiss each other's partners. Then it should be like, we should have sex with our own partners, but in the same room. Then it should be like, let's switch and just dry hump each other's partners. And then 2 of the guys that she was dry humping with got feelings for her. And then she couldn't understand why those wives didn't want to be her friend anymore.
That's when it gets weird.
So
when you get
then she exploded it on TikTok.
That's when it gets weird, Jessica.
When you catch
it's weird
feelings.
once you put the kids to bed and you're playing fucking spin the bottle and you're in a grown person's backyard hot tubbing, but it's his parents and you're drinking out of a fucking flask and you're like, don't let his parents see. It's like, you're 29. You're 29. You're 20 fucking 9.
This is what happens when you're
It
suppressed.
angers me. Okay, so that's what happened.
Then she, woke up in the middle of the night and read a Reddit that they knew that she was a swinger. And she's like, well, I better clear it up on TikTok. So then she gets on TikTok, and that's where she does the famous one where, these girls that you see me dancing with our long locks and stuff in our, matching homes, we are actually soft swingers. So then everyone's like, who's the swingers? So then they get the reality show. But the girls that were involved in the swinging were like, we don't want to be part of the reality show because we don't want the world to know that we were soft swingers. They are all since divorced, those women too.
Yeah.
So they kind of cast or found other girls that were into TikTok that would want to be part of the show. So you're watching this show and I'm like, and the whole time I'm like, who did she swing with? None of the cast did she ever swing with.
I will say this is the one thing that stuck out to me apart on that show. It was episode 2 or 3, and Amy with the bob, the porn addicted husband's wife. What's her name? Amy? Whitney. They're in the kitchen baking cookies with the mom, talking about the vibrator and if she should do the ad.
Right.
And she's like appalled because pleasure can become sinful quickly.
She should do an ad for Tinder. That's what her husband was on or whatever. He was on some app. Go on.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And all I could focus on was how could you allow your mom to make those cookies with so much hair on her black t-shirt. I could not focus. I was like, you're literally going to serve hair with a cookie around it.
Dog hair? Human
her
hair?
own hair. And I know this because my mom's a shedder. My mom sheds like a freaking golden retriever.
Do you have those little lint brushes everywhere?
I certainly do. And before she makes anything, she goes, do I have anything? Stands like Jesus on the cross. Do I have any hair on me? And we do a run through. We put the hair back. We do a second run through. And I thought, I'm so angry that you're telling your daughter that pleasure can become sinful when you're ready to serve your family hairy cookies.
Right. You know what's sinful? Making cookies with hair on your sweatshirt.
Yes.
That is sinful.
Lady.
Yeah.
And they cook
agree.
so much. The Mormons love to make a funeral potato. And I'm like, how horrific. I'm sure that the church is like so, they prep themselves. They're like, oh no, Becky's making the Jell-O. Be prepared.
Well, the reason Whitney got famous was, before I tell the story, her child is fine. Okay. Fine. But one of her kids, I think she's pregnant with number 4 now, but I think maybe baby number 2 or something, was when it was an infant, had RSV, or they thought he might. So he went to the hospital and, it turned out he was fine.
Okay.
But before she took him home, so he's in the plastic little like NICU crib.
Okay.
She
Is she the dancer?
She did the dance.
No, that's
so it was
her?
that song. I want to be with you. I love you. I want to be. And she's like, and then
in the NICU.
Oh, I'm showing you.
And then
this
she
video.
has the writing, and she has the writing of like, when you think your child has RSV, but he doesn't. I want to be with you. So the parodies that people are doing are so hilarious. It had a resurgence with the show. And people will be like dancing like that, and then their friend will be acting like they just like got hit by a car, and they'll be like, "I love you. I want to be with you. I want to be with you." Yeah.
Literally. Sending prayers, but what happened?
Wait, this is real?
No, this is real.
Yeah, this is what she did like a year ago.
And then people are...
And so that was part of the show, which you did not get to, where she's like, I'm pissed because Taylor did soft swinging and then got pregnant out of wedlock, and she's not getting the kind of shit that I got for doing a TikTok dance when my child was in NICU. But she was like, I did the dance with the intention of, I'm dancing because I'm so happy that my baby's okay. But then one of the other girls goes, no, she admitted to me off camera, off everything, that she did it for likes and follows and was happy that it blew up. But then it blew up for the wrong reason.
It is the weirdest. I cannot believe this is in the same world. I thought forever this girl is like number 1 troll. She trolled us all. I thought it was a parody. That was a real.
That was the original. Yeah. Now everybody's doing it as a joke where they like I said, they have there's a log on their friend and they're like, I want to be with you. I want to be with you.
Or like their friends under a car squished and they're like, they're my friend.
Yeah.
That is horrifying.
I have never talked so much about a show that I've never watched.
I know.
Holy shit.
Well,
Maybe I will watch it.
It is a hit. They got a second season. You never know.
Congrats.
Well, what I heard from a reliable source, they're filming 2 and 3 at the same time.
That's what they do for Selling Sunset. That's what they did in the beginning of Selling Sunset.
Kind of smart.
You know,
I've never seen Selling Sunset either.
Just got all their stuff out there.
Pregnancy hormones are no joke. I know a lot of mamas out there know exactly what I'm talking about, and I'm sure a lot of you have experienced the negative effects those hormones seem to have on our hair. The thinning, the shedding, it is unbelievable. But luckily, I've got Nutrafol, so I got to meet my new baby girl with fabulous looking hair. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement trusted by over 1 million people. See thicker, stronger, faster growing hair and less shedding in just 3 to 6 months. I know you guys see what it's done for me because you've commented and told me that my hair looks amazing. Nutrafol is physician formulated with 100% drug-free ingredients, and Nutrafol supplements help support hair growth from within by targeting possible root causes of thinning. This includes stress, hormones, aging, nutrition, lifestyle, and metabolism as they evolve throughout a woman's life. Just purchase online, no prescription required. Get results you can run your fingers through. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering Give Them Lala listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter my promo code LALA10. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and hairstylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code LALA10. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code LALA10.
I want to say before we move on.
Yes.
This was me. I was kind of a see you next Tuesday about this show. I just want to say I'm excited for them, right? I know what it's like to be on television. It's very exciting. I have nothing against any of these chicks. You could line them up in front of me. I couldn't pick them out of a lineup. It's my own personal experiences living in Utah, seeing these things where I'm like, I'm triggered. I don't need to watch this. I don't like it.
Cool. That's legit. Yeah.
So good for them that they got a second and third season. I am praying to God that someone gives someone from Utah a show that does not make us all look like quacks. I turn on Real Housewives of Salt Lake. They're making us look like quacks. Mm-hmm. I turn on this Hulu show. They're making us look like quacks. I'm ready to get my 801 tattoo covered up. I want to see a snowboarder drinking a fucking beer that moved there from Switzerland because the snow's better in Utah than the Swiss Alps. Show me something fucking cool. Make it cool.
I love Park City, Utah. That's
Thank
my
you,
favorite place
Heather.
to go and ski and shop.
That's the 435, unfortunately. I'm an 801 bitch.
Well, I will say, well, now I can't remember what I was going to say, but continue on.
It's okay. Have you been watching New York and Salt Lake?
Yes.
Okay. I will say Salt Lake.
Oh, wait, I just remembered what I was going to say.
Yeah, tell me.
I have a friend who is my age, and she goes, you know why I like the Mormon show, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? Is she goes, I want to see young, pretty people.
Yeah.
She's like, I like just seeing like young, pretty people on the screen. I'm sorry. Like I versus like some of like the housewives being drunk and treating people awful and going to prison and ruining each other's lives. She's like, at least they're not really mean to each other. There's like a snark here or there, but it's pretty much, they're not really like that. And so I almost feel like it's why people watch Hallmark movies. And I'm like, how do you watch that boring ass shit? Like nobody's fucking the nanny or whatever. And they're like, no, I like it because it's like, I know no one's going to fuck the nanny. And they're just going to end up at the Christmas tree lot. And I just want like a non-stress thing.
All right.
So it's
It'll
like a
get there.
non-stress. It'll get there, yeah.
Right, but it's
right
their
now it
first
isn't like that.
season.
Yeah.
First seasons of Housewives, if you think about the drama, it was about like sending a minivan rather than an RV.
Right.
Like it was very lighthearted drama.
Well,
and
hopefully
then,
it can stay. I would like it to stay like just the fun stuff and see these girls' personality, whatever. But yeah,
hopefully
you're right.
it will.
You're right. Yeah.
But let's deep dive into
so
where
go-
bitches are at each other's throats.
So tell me what you're talking about next.
So Salt Lake, you've been watching,
Mm-hmm.
and how do you feel about the storylines so far? I mean, I think we're 4 episodes in. Do you like Bronwyn?
First of all,
How weird that there's 2 Bronwyns in the Bravo universe.
and they
now.
spell it differently.
It's so weird. It is so weird.
Never heard the name prior to that. Either one.
No, too. On the
And
same
how
planet.
bummed is like that thirsty lesbian Bronwyn that like left and married the girl in Nashville and is just like, every 4 weeks just trying to get like page 6 to write something.
Oh.
And she's like, now, God damn it, you know? And
Now it's going to be really hard.
yeah, what? Yeah.
Because Bronwyn with an O is here.
Yeah. Ronald with an O is a good choice because she, you know, first of all, no offense to her. Maybe it's because she's around, you know, women that are a little older. Shocked to hear she was 38.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that she won't look 38 15 years from now. I just talked about how sometimes when people look a little older than when they get to like their 50s, they still look that age. I don't know if it's the hair or the outfits or what. But
Could
I
be
was
the
like
angle
shocked.
of the face.
And also
she's got a
didn't
very
act like a 38-year-old to me.
No, she's very well spoken. I mean, I feel you. I feel badly that I said her husband was like 500 years old. There's only a 26-year age difference. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, damn, I can't judge. That's only 6 years more than my baby daddy.
Well, they
and
won't
me.
be married in a year because she's already talking about how she like doesn't like to fuck him and everything on camera.
Classic.
And I'm just like, okay, like do not go on these shows if you want to stay married. Now, if you really don't want to find yourself babysitting your grandchildren with your husband 15 years from now, please turn down the Housewives show because a 98% chance you will not make it there.
I was
And-
shocked though, Heather. Yes, but the Takemans, do you remember?
Yeah.
Kristen and her husband Josh
Yeah, the one that
from Roni.
Yeah.
They were at each other's throats. They're still married.
because she's not on the show.
You think it's because she left the show? She didn't stay on it.
Well, she left the show because he was on Ashley Madison.
Right.
And then she left the show. And yeah, so when the cameras are gone and you're living your life and you decide, we're good, we're going to stay together, and no one has to know that you were mean to me on Tuesday because the cameras were there, and now they're watching it on Peacock 8 years later, and you're sending me, like, can't believe you're still with that asshole. Like, yeah. Like,
Okay.
I think the best situation, I always said this, was Carol Radziwill because she got to be on it. She didn't have a significant other at the time.
Right.
She didn't have a child that could grow up to hate her because she, you know, whatever, humiliated them, saying like they can't drive. How many times do we have to see someone with their, where are you driving like that? Where? Like, it's just so like, come on. I don't want to see the driving classes anymore, people. To figure out something else to do with your moody teen. I'm done with that scene. So, yeah, that's what I think. So,
But don't you guys think, okay, do you think that it just not exposes, but puts relationships that like aren't great? Because we all know people get married and they can settle and they're like, I'm just going to live with this person forever because that's all I want. Do you think it puts those relationships and exposes them and then they're not strong and they break up? Because look at like Heather Dubrow, look at Tamra, look at who else?
well,
Who's in-
Tamara did get divorced.
from
but-
Eddie?
No,
No,
her
she was
first husband.
married-
She had a whole first
yeah,
husband.
she did. Okay, well, that's not a good example.
But I think, and with Shannon Bedore, I remember the first time I met Shannon Bedore, Tamara was like, do you want to go to the SC UCLA game? Because I put out on Twitter, who has tickets or something. And she's like, I'm actually going and we have tickets. I'm going with the new housewife. Don't say anything. I didn't know who it was. She went to SC too. So I meet her and I like her.
That's Bedore, right?
That's Shannon Bedore. And she
Yeah.
brings David. And so it's a secret. No one knows that she's on the show and she's filming whatever. And I'm like, asking a million questions. And I go, I'm a little bit worried. Like, why would you want to do this show? Because I'd been watching, knew even back then that it was horrible for a marriage. And she goes, I'd like to see my marriage played back. And she goes, I haven't worked, since I had kids. And I think I have something to offer this world. And I would like to do it. And I was like, all right. At that time, he was great. He was attentive to her. Like, and then we watch it and whatever their situation was. But like, so I think for people like her, she thought, he's going to watch it back and see that he's dismissive of me. And that's going to make him step it up and be a great husband. It's the complete opposite. They get all the hate from the women across America, finding them, telling them they're a piece of shit, and then they read it as the husband, and then they yell at their wife, and then it just is like, no. And so speaking of which, did you watch Roni last night, 2 days ago?
Yeah.
So I interviewed Aaron, and I said to Aaron, Aaron, this is last year. Last year. You seem like you have it together. You're gorgeous. You actually have a real job in real estate.
When did you interview her?
It would have been
Season 1?
Yes, right when season 1 started.
Can we talk about her face real fast before we deep dive into her marriage as well? What has she done to her face? Because whatever she's done, she looks phenomenal.
She looks gorgeous with the extra hair in the choker. And she is very pretty.
But she's
very
had
pretty
maybe
naturally.
a little bit of Botox. Something is slightly
she's
different.
young. I mean, I think she's like barely 40.
Maybe so a different makeup artist. I don't know. She looks unbelievable.
She is like a naturally pretty
stunning human
person.
Yeah. Okay. So
the conversation. There's 2 conversations we've seen with Abe, and that's what they do. They whatever it is. I'm sure they have moments where he's hugging her from behind and being sweet. We're not going to see that. What we're seeing are the fights that they're having. So the first thing is he jokingly mentions mushrooms or something.
Yeah, that was strange. The amount of she was very upset about mentioning
So she breaks
mushrooms.
the fourth wall, which I kind of like. You're an idiot. Why are you saying that on air? And then they flash back to when she referenced psychedelics the previous year. And he says, well, I don't like my words being policed. So I feel like they had, before doing the show, we can be ourselves. I'll never tell you what to do or say. And now he's experienced her shaming him, calling him an idiot. You spoke out of turn. Then last night we see them go to dinner. And I was like, dude, like she treated him, in my opinion, and I know I saw a snippet, horribly. She was like, she goes, do better. I was out on jets and stuff. And he was like, I know, I've worked really hard to like be that guy that could provide what the other people, I didn't sleep with those people. I was just so hot that they flew me around. And he's like, yeah, I've worked. So she goes, and so you kept the secret about selling the Bitcoin. Just do better. Do better. Like she's
not
scolding
only that,
him. Like it was, I could never imagine speaking to my husband like that.
Well, I don't want to ever feel like I need to speak to my husband that way.
Right.
But she also says to him, you need to keep proving yourself.
Yes.
And I was like, if someone spoke that way to me, especially my partner, I don't think I could be with them. What do you mean I need to keep proving myself? Like, what are you bringing to the table that's so above and beyond?
Oh, and do you imagine if we saw a housewife husband say that to his wife?
Oh.
Just do better. Just, you know what? Keep the house
yourself.
clean. You kept it a secret that you went to Saks. You kept it a secret. So you just keep doing better or you'll be out the door and I'll have another chick on my jet. Like people would lose their fucking mind.
Do you guys think there was an affair and he cheated and it's something they agreed?
No, I think it's really what she's saying.
No.
She
wanted to use the Bitcoin
I think she's
to pay off the mortgage.
So that she has a storyline. I think they got to her and were like, if you want to make this show pop, if you're having any problem, if you fought with him when the cameras weren't here about something. And so she looked back and was like, well, I was pretty disappointed about that bank thing. Mm-hmm. So I'll bring that up. And so I have something cooking besides, my mom going through an illness, which, is important too. But we all know the people sitting at home, nothing makes a woman happier than to see another pretty successful woman be miserable. And so they're very happy to see that she does not have a perfect marriage because last year they were celebrating their 10-year wedding anniversary doing 55 speeches. So they're like, oh, you had too good of a marriage for season 1. So we are going to make it that they're going to hate you. They're going to tell the girls are going to be slipping into Abe's DMs besides Bryn trying to get laid.
How do you feel about Bryn?
Wait, can you also not because you said you were interviewing her. I just want to make sure you finish that story.
Oh, yeah, you said.
So I interviewed her. I thought she was great. I thought she was really nice and cool. Yeah. I thought she was fine, I thought she had an interesting life before. I was like, okay, just like I just hope that you're a perfect family because it really seemed like a perfect family. Like she really said, we have a great relationship. We have sex all the time. The kids are good. And I was just like, so listen, I know why people do it. And I know once they get a taste of it, it's like 1 in a million that the person goes after 1 year. I don't want to come back. I don't even know if there is one person. I think there was
it's like a drug.
Yeah, the one girl from Atlanta, and I think they fired her like first season.
No, I don't think anyone
has ever said
on their own.
On the first season, no. No way.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I get it. And then, you really what changed it is once people get a taste of BravoCon, I'm sorry, who doesn't want to be a Rolling Stone? Like that I think that BravoCon is what changed the whole trajectory of Housewives as reality stars. They put them on stage. They had women screaming, and they're in a different headspace now. How can you not be?
Well, it is. I always say every time you go to BravoCon, it's the only place that you're treated like you're a part of the Beatles. It's wild.
Yeah.
But then it's also wild to walk out of wherever they're holding it, whether it's New York or in Vegas. You walk out and maybe a block and no one gives a fuck about who you are. It's wild. It's like, hold on, I want to go one block over back
you go
to
one
where.
block over, so it's just going, would you like to come to this? Would you like a hooker to send to your room tonight?
Yeah, and I'm like, I
Would you
am
like to be
Lala
a
Kent.
Or they're more like, would you like to be a hooker?
You could make a lot of money. I'm like, I grab their hand, walk them back one block, and I'm like, do you see who I am? No, but that's why I also sometimes look at Bravo celebrities, certain ones, where I'm like, you realize who we are, right? Like, we got to come down from the clouds. Like, we are in no way, unless I'm walking into Sir, like, yes, my friends will come into town and be like, can we go out? Or like, I'm like, here's the thing. Unless you take me to one of the places that's like, I'm Mickey Mouse at Disneyland, I live a very normal life. I may have people come up for like a picture or two. It's great. For the most part, maybe I'm recognized, but they're like, why would I want a picture? Like, what the fuck am I going to do with it, right? Like, I'm going to show my friend who may or may not watch Vanderpump Rules and be like, cool.
This is always my favorite, is when someone comes up to me and they'll go, can I get a picture? Can I get a picture? And then she'll be like, the girl will be like, he has no idea who you are. And then I don't know why I'm taking this photo,
You're
but
like,
I guess you're somebody. I'm like, all right.
That's
like,
so
rude.
rude.
It's like a weird, it's like, first you're like flattered. Oh, thank you. You're
Yeah.
a juicy scooper. And then it's like, okay, I don't need the whole history. I mean, do you imagine if your boyfriend like saw some like killer basketball player or whatever, like at a Nike store or whatever, at a restaurant, and was like, hey man, and then the girl was like, I don't know. What do? You throw a ball around? Okay, like that's gonna last. Good luck. Hope you have a backup plan. Like,
No, it is
no one would
so
ever say
rude.
that. They'd be like, "Oh, how cool! Yeah, oh my God, he loves your team." Like a girl would be nice.
Yes. That's why
And depending
boys-
on how hot he is, slide in his DM later.
Right. Exactly.
Where were we?
We're talking about
Bryn. You asked
New
about
York
Bryn.
and Bryn.
Yeah.
What do
And
I
Bryn.
think of Bryn?
Yeah.
I think Bryn has great style. I love her dresses. She goes to a lot of red carpets. I love everybody's like clothes and stuff on the show.
I like that they allow them to be free.
Yes.
Like they allowed Jenna Lyons last year to wear jeans to the reunion.
Yeah, I felt like when Jenna Lyons was introduced to us, and all these people were going insane. I was like, okay, so she worked for J. Crew. She didn't just work for J. Crew, Heather. She was the queen of fashion. I was like, all right. Like, I don't understand. Like, okay. Like, I don't really get it. It's not my style, but happy that she's a successful woman who's in love and raising a son. Good for her. Whatever. I do find her, like, fun to watch. But when she, but then everyone's like, she's Jenna fucking Lyons, and now that's her son. What bothers me about this group is every single one of their taglines is obscenely conceited. And I'm like, it just rubs me wrong. Like, not one person can like come up with something a little clever or funny. And I know a lot of the producers write it and they have three to
Why
choose from.
date the dad when you could be mother?
Yeah, like, because last year it was, hold on to your daddies, or I'm going after the son, or watch out, sons, I'm dating your dad. I don't know what it was. There's something about dating the dad, or, don't be mad, I'll just date your dad, or something like that. Now it's, why they did dad when I'm the mother? And then she's fake lesbian all the time, acting like she wants to like lick a cooch.
Bryn.
And I'm
Let's
like,
talk
shut
about
up.
that though, because when Mel,
But I like her. I want her on the show.
No, I love all of them.
Yeah.
I love all of them. It'll never slap like OG Roni. It just
No.
won't. Like none of them will ever be Dorinda. None of them will ever be Sonia
Don't
Morgan
even
or
talk
Ramona.
about Richard right now, because Richard's in the room. And you know what? These new girls, I love them. I don't know. I wake up every morning. I call my mother. I've got Hannah. I got the traitors. Like, I know we'll never have that. We'll never have Sonia being like, I partied with JFK. Like, we'll never.
No. What does she call him?
What?
She doesn't call him Johnny.
John?
No, she
Oh.
calls him.
Wait, yeah,
She
he
calls
had a
him
funny name.
something because
John.
John.
That was his baby name. Yeah. When he
Yeah,
was a little
because
kid.
Radzi was like, no one calls him that. And she was like, beyond offended. We'll never have Aviva taking off her fake leg and throwing it across the room. Like, we just won't. And,
Iconic.
And it is absolutely devastating. I like all the women. I relate to Sai a lot this season because she's talking about how she doesn't like therapy, but she's in it and she's trying to calm the beast. And then it rears its ugly head. I get it. Do you know how many times I've walked onto a season? I'm like, I've changed. I'm going to be composed. One wrong move on someone else's part, and I go insane. And then I have deep, deep shame.
Yeah.
But I get over it.
No, I think they're all well cast and interesting. There isn't one that I'm like, like more than the other. So I think it's,
Let's go back to you talking about how Brynn is sometimes a lesbian. Yeah. I'm not a lesbian.
She's not a lesbian. The flirting thing is old. It's like some of them I
She's
think
very
get a
flirty
shtick.
a lot.
Just like when Shannon Bedore, I feel like when she would always be like, Heather Dubrow and Shannon Bedore, and I felt like then they told her, always say the last names. And then that became her shtick. And then for certain people that are not professional actors, they become a parody of themselves. And it's like, okay, I know that shtick worked with like, I'm going to flirt. I'll flirt with Abe. I'll flirt with da-da-da-da. Just show me a real dude you're dating, Brynn.
And I fully agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm not lesbian or bi, but for some reason, Raquel and Mel, the new couple that like motorcycles, super fucking hot, and Mel is super sexy.
Okay, when Mel held up, when I loved that scene, domestic, real, and funny.
With the dog.
With the dog. I fucking loved it. And then when
Mel's
the
like,
wife,
she's starting to get anxious, babe.
And then when she fucks her, and she goes, she's getting a little heavy. And she goes, okay, this is a bad angle. Now, that was real. That wasn't trying to be funny.
No.
That was just funny.
No,
and I was
love them.
I like it. I like those kids in a real place of like, they're making steak for the dog. And then
they're making that weird, like, Pennsylvania pasta or whatever.
Yeah,
and she's
for
like,
the kids. Like, I thought, like, I like that too. I like seeing a real relationship that isn't the traditional man and woman. Like, they're lesbians. She's a late in life lesbian. Like, I like the girl. She's funny. Yeah, I like that. So I like seeing hip today. I like seeing people, that look different than the first cast. I think it's
two
good.
lesbian housewives on the same in the same city.
Down.
Why do
Digging
we
it.
think
Down
Brynn is
for it.
not? Because I usually just assume unless you kind of come out, especially nowadays, unless you come out as gay or straight, you're kind of bi. Is Brynn?
I think she's just flirty, no matter who you are.
Do we think she wouldn't date a woman? I guess is my question.
No, I don't think she would date a woman.
I think
No?
she is
No.
as gay as I am, which is not.
Okay.
No,
But I
don't
think
she's
that
gay. I
she
think
could
it's
get
just-
a little drunk and make out with a chick.
I think it's just a flirty. I just think it's a way for her to be like silly and fun, and it's just her personality. But like,
But then here's the thing that they called her out on 3 different cast members.
yeah,
They called her out on you're very, very friendly for the cameras and you giggle and you laugh, but then you send us text messages that you are like carbon monoxide and you won't even see you coming and you'll just kill everybody. Like, she's like a little crazy, which I dig.
wait, was that I interpreted the text as different. I thought she was saying one of you have called me carbon monoxide. She's saying I am, and you should watch out.
She's
well, then that's even jucier.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, she was.
Sometimes when they
she
throw
was
a text up, I have to like pause and like read it.
Yeah, she was basically saying, this is how I maneuver. I'm not loud. I'm not going to clap in your face. Someone once called me carbon monoxide. This is how I do things.
That's
So I was
sexy.
like, that is juicy.
That is pretty good.
Yeah.
I think she's clever. I think she's smart. I like her looks, and I like the way she dresses, and so she's fun to watch. Yeah, I think she's intriguing. I think it's good. At first, I wasn't into it. First episode, I was like, I don't think I could do it.
Same.
But then, just when I think them out, they lure me back in or whatever that kink.
You know what's hard about New York for me is I'm so balls deep 24/7 in OG Roni that it's hard to get me out of that bubble. Like I just wrapped up when Bethany leaves again,
Oh.
and I'm back at season 3.
I don't think there's anything that could make me more jealous when someone's like,
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it. Is there a season I should start on? And then like someone ever does that like in a group or post, everybody's just like, I'm so jealous, I'm so jealous, I'm so jealous. Just start from the start. And I was on a plane recently and I was trying to download on Peacock the first season of New York. And for some reason it didn't go
wouldn't
down.
load.
So I had to watch Scarface. But like that's what I wanted to watch. Just the way I watch Sex
next
in the
best
City.
thing.
Like I'll watch Sex
I
in the City
love Sex in the
episodes
City
over and
over
over and
and
over
over.
again. It's like
Yeah.
a comfort, and especially if you're on a plane, it just makes the 5 hours go by fast.
So
and,
fast.
like, yeah.
No,
And then
I
especially
agree
if
with
you're
you.
going to New York, I want to see like New York stuff.
Yeah.
So that always gets me excited to
the
like go to
only-
New York.
The only show besides Pets, when they zoom in and
Yes.
it's like, welcome to New York. I'm like, I could live there. Pets and Roni. I'm like, I could
it's so
live in
funny
New
that
York.
you say about Pets because that's why I finally got to go to the Amalfi Coast because ever since I saw Cars 2,
Yeah.
when the boys were little, I was like, that's where I want to go. I want to go to the Amalfi Coast.
And
then,
did it look just like
yes,
it?
and finally I got to go this year.
Oh my
so I
God,
love that. Such a
congrats.
mom thing to bring up Pets.
It is. Unfortunately, I didn't have kids when I first saw it.
Oh.
Kate, let's talk real quick because
Yeah.
I want to get your take on this Allie. As Meredith from SLC, she's like, Alibaba.
Yeah.
She buys her things
Oh,
from
yeah,
Alibaba.
yeah.
I'm like,
Well,
she's a
this-
caricature of a human.
This has been a storyline for many girls that have tried to get into retail. Sonia too
It's very common.
had clothes that were also at Target or out at places, and then she was selling it. And this is what I remember, so don't come at me. But I remember there was something with Sonia's stuff, maybe not on the show, but somebody found it. And yes, Alibaba is a big site. You probably could explain it better than I, where people can buy stuff, whether you have like a storefront or whatever, and you can put your own label on it. And so apparently that's where she got the necklaces with this jewelry with an intention, like a spiritual thing.
right. It's Whitney has now
Whitney
been,
Rose, yeah.
Whitney Rose is now being accused of getting her jewelry from Alibaba.
Yeah.
And it's pretty hard to dispute it because the photo on Alibaba is literally identical to what is shown on Prism. I don't want to. Isn't it called Prism?
Yeah.
Whitney's and it's Meredith who's being the bone collector and delivering the news about this, which she usually is attacking people's businesses. It happens every season.
Yes.
It's like her shtick.
Yeah.
Producers call her like, so whose business are you attacking? It's your personality
Rita
now.
Tequila owes several thousands of dollars to an LLC. It's always something like that, and it's like, oh God, like don't give us too much. So this time she simplified it. She didn't talk about LLC. She just said, this is not like, some authentic jeweler. But this has been going on like in different things where there was somebody that cracked it open. I don't want to say because I don't want to get sued, but they cracked open a very big designer that was selling like a box. Like, here's remember FabFit? What happened to FabFitFun?
I don't know. It Fit fund its way elsewhere.
no.
I used to
Anyway,
post
this
at the
person
beginning
had
of
a
my
curated
days.
box.
Okay.
Had a curated box.
yeah.
And this person that went deep dive on it realized that, this is and you get this adorable leather bag, and this is done by a mother-daughter, designer team out in Southern California or whatever. And it turned out, no, it was from Alibaba. They created a fake, thing. So you think you're getting a purse that, you're helping a small business and it's a little chic. It's not, Louis Vuitton, but it's like, a little bit special.
Right.
And it wasn't. And so it's like so I think in her case, somebody came to her, just like I'm sure people have come to you in your career. And if you don't do your due diligence, they're like, here, come, slap your name on this.
Trust me, it's happened to me on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
And then it takes you forever and a day to unwind certain businesses if you're not savvy at the beginning. Like,
Right.
I totally get it. And I think a lot of people actually do run their businesses that way because it's so easy.
Yeah.
Like Alibaba is, for those of you who don't know, you log on and you can get things in bulk for like, you can get like however many bows, right? All different looks for like $3.99. And then if someone wants to sell those, you can mark it up to really whatever the fuck you want.
And I understand
That's a good way to explain it.
Because I do understand looking from this, you're still curating what you want. So there's so much on Alibaba that like if I were like, oh, I'm going to start whatever, a clothing brand, I'm like, yes, but I'm still curating like this is my style. I'm getting it from Alibaba, but it's still like me. I have my spin on it. So I get why businesses do it. It's like, but it is also mass produced and not the best quality and all that.
Yeah, but and it's not illegal. She didn't do anything illegal. But one of the things is she made it that this is, she chose items that were, spiritual symbols.
Right.
So she was saying this is spiritual. And like, I would have thought, hearing it, if I was to, that there was something that went into the making of it. Was it blessed, in the Utah mountains? Was it some type of spiritual, like, blessing? Like, what, it's a triangle, like a pyramid. I don't know. Like, I think that's what she was kind of marketing it as, which which again is not illegal, but like, I think that's where. So what was her defense? Because I did not get to this episode yet.
Her defense was she works with designers and does curated.
Exactly what you said.
Yes,
so
and
she
says
so
it's
she's
called
not denying it.
It's called commerce. That's what she says.
She's basically was she putting it on the designers? Like, I just tell them what I want, and then maybe they source it.
No.
Oh.
Well, she said. Yeah.
Yes, she did, but she was adamant that she's not. She didn't say outright, "I'm not going to Alibaba." She said it the way you said it.
Yeah, it's like, well,
she used the word curate and
source.
commerce.
Yes, commerce.
Curator is a word that has just been used so much in the last 3 years.
Yeah, you're right. It's a great word. I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck it means.
No, anything has curate on it, I'm buying it most likely because it's like, oh.
But what does it mean? You created it with someone else? I don't know.
It means like chosen, like that, like, with a curated menu from, whatever.
That makes okay.
Curated interior design, curated flowers. It could be anything. It's just like, it's just like, it just makes it feel special.
It's a racket word.
Yeah.
That draws in consumers
curated
like
cocktails is a big one.
Yeah, curated cocktails. I'm like, I'm going there and buying
handmade curated cocktails.
All natural.
That sounds like $23 a glass.
Yeah.
That sounds like no thank you. Happy I don't drink. This screams, I'm not paying for anybody's alcohol. When we split the bill, we ain't splitting alcohol, buddy. This Brittany girl on Salt Lake, I'm so confused by her and why her relationship with this Osmond guy is getting so much. She has now given 2 ding, ding, ding speeches about her and her not boyfriend. What the fuck is going on?
Well, I do think that's the only reason she was chosen.
Really?
Is that she is dating the most famous, for your younger audience, they might not know the Osmonds.
Donnie and
Marie had this, is like, they followed in the steps of Sonny and Cher. So it was a variety show. It was huge. And then they had Donnie and Marie, who came from this big Mormon singing family. And, they were hot. Like, everyone always thought there was something more going on, but clearly there wasn't. They're brother and sister, but they could have dated.
They look identical. They look identical.
And they were like, she would be like, I'm a little bit country. And he's like, I'm a little bit rock and roll. And they're really cute. And she went on to be married. They both went on to get married, have 8 kids. And they did a show in Vegas and they've been around forever. And then there were ones that just like in a boy band where there's the most popular one. And then you're sitting back and you're like, I know I won't get Donnie, but I could screw this person. Somehow this guy is not, either he's the youngest brother of Donnie or he's a nephew.
No, I think he's a nephew or something.
He's a nephew. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that was some juice that she gave the producers. I'm dating the most famous of the Utah Mormons, old school famous.
Lisa Barlow calls him the D-list of the Osmonds.
I mean, what's his name again? I just want to see what he looks like.
There's Mitt Romney, and then there's the Osmonds.
Okay,
so it's let's go. So but then he has been oh my God, I've been used for content. We weren't serious. He has spoken. and that I saw. I don't know if it was from the
So
show
do we
or
think
someone.
that she's clearly emotionally stunted, right? Like we
I think-
spoke about it this last week that like she's a Mormon, got married and had kids by the time she was like 20.
Yeah.
And she just doesn't really know how to hold a normal relationship that like involves kind of like friends with benefits. She doesn't understand that, which is what most people experience in their young adulthood. It's like all I can't commit to you, but let's fuck on Fridays. And like you start understanding the game, right? You know when to take something seriously. I don't know how, like, yes, you're having sex with him, but he's telling you you're his friend. She can't combine the two and go, oh, friends with benefits. She's like, but we have sex, so I'm going to cancel out the fact that he keeps referring to this as a friendship and only fixate on the sexual intimacy
Have we
that
only
we have.
seen him in like a FaceTime, or has he done a scene?
No, we haven't even seen him at all. She's shown
And he's
text
like,
messages.
oh my God, he's probably just like, what did I get myself involved in? But next thing you know, he's John Jansen 2.0. Who knows? Next season, he's dating some other chick that pops around.
dating Bronwyn.
He's like a handsome
Bronwyn
man.
Once her husband gets wind of, he's like, what? I buy you the ugliest furniture and the ugliest clothes, and then you say that I'm ugly to screw? Like, screw you, wife.
Is he holding on to plans? My dad used to bring these things home. My dad
plans
was
are
in
in my
real
dad.
estate development. This guy is,
Oh, he has like
he's pretty-
architectural plans rolled up?
yeah, he's pretty sexy for an old guy.
He looks
No, he's
good.
cute.
He
He's
looks
cute.
like he would be someone though that goes, "Oh, we're friends, but yeah, let's fuck." He looks like in my not to be rude, but
He does.
He doesn't want to be in the seat.
no, he just
I like him.
emotionally mature maybe.
So
Yeah, well,
she
you can't
throws out.
blame some, look, the economy's tough, and she obviously wanted to be on the show.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at like, how could I get on the show? It's like, well, what do you have that we could latch on to? Oh, not only am I dating somebody, somewhat famous adjacent, but it's also a friends with benefits, and I'm clueless about it. And there's, some connection to cheating because fans have DM'd other. Like, of course you're going to pick her.
Right.
I would be shocked if this girl was on next season, but I don't know.
She's not coming back. And Mary, I mean, I'm shocked that she's still back, but for the first time, I actually like her. She's like really funny and likable this
Well,
season.
now she's like stopped. She's completely abandoned her fake church. And now she and the step grandfather are suing the people that supposedly ran the finances of her church. And she's suing for $6.3 million. So I'm like, how much money did you take from this congregation in the first place that they could have squandered away $6.3 million?
The churches scare me.
Yeah.
All the
churches.
churches.
I told you I went to the church. I went to her church.
Yeah?
When we went skiing.
Did you praise Jesus?
I'm like, before we go to the airport, I made Peter, and then we walked around with the boys, and it was already closed up. I peered in. I saw a photo of the mother, the grandmother.
doesn't even.
I went to her.
What do you
old
mean
church.
closed up for good, or like
This
they
was
had
2 years
already
ago.
had?
It looked like it was closed up for good.
Oh.
But it was a full church, and there was like photos of like the mom.
Oh my goodness.
I mean that thing is a complete cult scam, like horrible. But she's weird and
Aren't
kind of
most
funny
religions
to watch.
though? Like I was Googling, which means, if it's written, it's
In
fact.
Google.
But how much these churches bring in, like I thought the Mormon church was hustling. I mean, the Catholic Church is bringing in
That's
in
the
the
most
trillions,
wealthy.
the trillions of dollars per year. And
Well-
we still have homeless people and people who can't feed themselves. And you're telling me a church is bringing in trillions a year? It's fucking sick.
It's Kris
sick.
Jenner has a church.
Stop it. You're lying to us.
Kanye's? Is it
No.
Kanye's?
No. But, it's the thing about the churches is that I would love to see they stop being tax deductible. I do.
Yeah.
I think that's where there's corruption. There's a lot of good that they do, but there's a lot. And so if you can establish a church, then you can give to your own church. You could have people in your family give to your church, and then that is a deductible for them, but you're the collector at the church. So that's where
The
it
same
can
thing
be
with
little,
that dance for the devil. He had a church
Now,
and a
I don't know if she
management.
still has a church, but she did have a church. I went to the church.
KJ, Kris Jenner.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it stunning?
Well, the first when it started, I didn't ever go to the brick and mortar, but then they did get an actual place.
Yeah.
And they never talk about it, and they never, I don't know if it still exists, but
That is.
but I went and she had a pastor, and the pastor was good. Like it was good, but I'm Catholic, so I always feel guilty about like going to anything.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, if I'm going to go, I need to go to like boring Catholic church.
yeah.
But
What?
There's the religion,
But then,
organized religion,
yeah, and
guilting
then-
people
yeah, and
already.
then
Catholic guilt, baby.
And then he had his church, and then like schools and stuff are like, they had their school. Will and
Yeah.
Jada had a school. I don't know.
Kris Jenner, a photo of Kylie on the altar.
Oh God, with them big old lips.
Oh my
No,
god. Oh my goodness.
yeah, but I don't know what's going on with that thing anymore. But at one time, there was.
Wow. You know what you do,
a
you though.
church stuff.
I guess that's like, that's why people are like, it's your freedom, it's your right.
Yeah.
It's if
No
you're gonna
one-
join the church, you're the dummy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me tell you, my home is my church.
Your house.
My
okay.
house,
Mm.
my four walls,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and my bedroom is like the temple, right? That's
Beautiful.
like yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to go anywhere else, talk to anybody else. Like, this is my thing. This is where I worship whatever I worship. I never feel guilty unless I lose my mind on somebody. And I work through it
And
in
we
my
will
house.
Raise you up on
that's-
Lala's wings.
I know that song. That's how you know, like, Catholicism only has a few songs in rotation, and some are hits. They're absolute
Yeah,
bangers.
that one is.
That one's a
That's a
banger.
good funeral one.
Yeah.
Nothing slaps harder than This Is the Place.
What
How
is
does
This
that
Is
go?
the Place?
The Utah song that we
Let's hear it.
all had to sing.
Is it a church
Let's
song or
hear
a
it.
state
Not a
song?
church, it's a state song.
Okay.
Go.
And it's like very grand. And it's like, Utah, people working together. Utah, what a great
She's got the
place to be.
drums going.
And I'm telling you. And then it's like, it was Brigham Young who led the pioneers across.
Sounds like a Christmas song, to be
Yeah.
honest.
It slaps so heavy.
Brigham Young,
Yeah.
though, so that way
Brigham Young is
Brigham,
a
whatever.
very Mormon weirdo.
religious song. Then.
That's the school,
Well, because
BYU.
no, we're based on
Brigham Young.
religion. It's the Mormon state.
Oh, it's the heaven
You-
state or whatever, right? The
That's
God
where it
state.
started.
The Mormon church was
Yeah.
like founded and accepted in Utah. Everyone else ran them out of town. They're like, you're all fucking weirdos. Get the fuck out of here. And then they got to Utah and said, this is the place.
What do they call it though? The mother. What do they call it? There's you guys.
The Beehive State. What are you
No,
talking about?
in the religion, it's like the motherland. You guys don't know what I'm talking about? I'm losing my mind. Fuck
No.
it. We'll do it live.
The Holy
Anyway,
State.
what do
I
you
know.
have going on before we sign off? Where are you going to be?
Oh, this weekend, this weekend, next weekend, Minneapolis Fillmore Theatre on October 18th.
Okay.
And then at the Vic Theatre in Chicago, October 19th. Both of those are very close to selling out. I really want to sell them out. I love the Midwest. My parents met in Chicago.
You know what the
So-
Midwest is? Young and reckless.
Mm,
Might jack your necklace.
sure.
Kanye West.
Boo.
I will be fine. You'll be safe at these theaters. And then I have Irvine Improv November 8th, 2 shows of stand-up. November
Okay.
9th, 2 shows of stand-up. November 10th, totally different live Juicy Scoop.
And
So
those
I
are all
love-
at Irvine.
that's Irvine weekend, November 8th, 9th, and 10th. Irvine Improv. I love performing at all these places. Honestly, I don't just say that, but my favorite place to perform are Chicago and Irvine Improv. And so I'm ending the year at those places, heathermcdonald.net,
I love it.
Yay.
By the way,
and Juicy
The
Scoop, of course.
the funnest show. It's so much fun. I loved doing it with you. I love doing it with you. I'm immature. I love your podcast. I love all of the things. So thank you
Thank
for being
you.
here on such short notice. Our ache and relief segment, we're going to chop and actually talk about, we've had people write in.
Yes, we've had floods of people write in about where to help for hurricane. So this isn't fact checked, but I'm going to mention a few.
Okay.
And you guys do your research, but a lot of these seem like good organizations. So
Some coming from people that are boots on the ground.
boots on the ground. Yeah.
Right.
This person, Leah, said you asked for ways to help or places to make donations for victims/survivors of hurricane. Is it Helene?
Helene, yeah.
Helene. Off the top of my head, these are Instagram accounts, but
The link is
organization.
usually there.
At Samaritan's Purse. And we will post these.
That is a fucking great one.
Okay. At Beloved Asheville. At Boonin Chamber. Again, I'll post screenshots of these. At Avery Chamber NC. At Au Pair Drop. And at Mana_Food Bank. Mana Food Bank. I'll post these. There is, this is a good one from Courtney. I have some information on the flooding you were speaking of yesterday. The Unicoi, UNICOI County Animal Shelter lost everything. They need help. And she said it won't let me attach a picture, but I have lots of pictures and info I can pass along. I will look that up as well. This is someone saying, thank you for sharing about Helene. I grew up in WNC. What is that?
I don't know. Is that West North Carolina? I don't know that. I don't know.
I don't know, but I will say they don't want you cleaning out your garage and sending them your old leggings. They just give money. Just give money.
Yeah.
They don't need more stuff. They don't spend it on shipping. Just they will get clothes with the money you give them, and they'll
get what they need with the money that we give them.
Don't have the people that are organizing it, and but definitely check out those places. Make sure that they're legit, that they have decades of experience, and that it's not someone that's just starting it
random
along with their brand new church.
Yeah,
like, just make sure it's like a legit thing.
Yeah,
but give, and then don't waste your time packing up.
No,
stuff.
I like the money. And the last two I'll read is from Kate, and she just sent, obviously, American Red Cross. That's a good place to donate. And then Blind Date Live AVL. I got to check that out. But she said this is good resources. I'll post all these.
Excellent. Thank you, Jess. My loves, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Give Them Lala podcast. Remember, Mondays we have the bonus episode. Regular old episodes air on Wednesdays. I will catch you next week. Thank you so much for watching another episode of the Give Them Lala podcast. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe. Did I get all three? I'm getting really good at that.